The tragedy of Clara. In a small, idyllic village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a young woman named Clara. Clara's life, from an outsider's perspective, seemed nothing short of perfect. She was the daughter of a well-respected farmer and spent her days tending to animals, helping in the fields, and weaving beautiful tapestries that adorned their modest home. Clara had a heart as pure as the morning dew and a smile that could brighten even the gloomiest of days. Yet beneath her radiant exterior lay a heart heavy with sorrow. Clara's mother had passed away when she was just a child, leaving her father, Samuel, to raise her alone. Samuel was a kind and loving man, but the loss of his wife had left him a shadow of his former self. He did his best to care for Clara, but the grief lingered, casting a pall over their lives. Clara missed her mother dearly and often found solace in the memories of her soft voice singing lullabies and the warmth of her embrace. As Clara grew older, she found joy in the simple pleasures of life. She adored the animals on their farm, especially a spirited horse named Star. Star had been a gift from her father on her 15th birthday, and the bond between them was unbreakable. They would ride together through the meadows, the wind whipping through Clara's hair as she felt a fleeting sense of freedom and happiness. However, life had more heartache in store for Clara. One fateful autumn, a severe storm ravaged the village. The wind howled like a wounded beast, and rain fell in relentless torrents. The villagers sought refuge in their homes, praying for the storm to pass. Clara and her father worked tirelessly to secure their farm, but the storm's fury was too great. In the chaos, Star panicked and broke free from the stable. Clara, desperate to save her beloved companion, chased after the horse into the storm. The night was a blur of lightning and thunder, the landscape unrecognizable under the onslaught. Clara's calls to Star were swallowed by the wind, and she struggled to keep her footing on the muddy ground. Hours passed, and exhaustion set in. Just as Clara was about to give up hope, she heard a faint whinny in the distance. Summoning the last of her strength, she followed the sound and found Star trapped in a thicket, trembling with fear. Relief washed over Clara as she carefully freed the horse. She knew they had to find shelter quickly, but the storm had disoriented her. She wandered through the darkened forest, clutching Star's reins, her heart pounding with fear. Finally, she spotted a faint light through the trees and made her way towards it. They stumbled upon a small, abandoned cabin and took refuge inside, huddled together for warmth as the storm raged on. The next morning, the storm had passed, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Clara and Star made their way back to the village, but the sight that greeted them was devastating. The once vibrant fields were flooded, homes were damaged, and the villagers wore expressions of despair. Clara's heart sank as she approached her farm. The house was still standing, but the barn had collapsed, and many of their animals were lost. Samuel, who had feared the worst, embraced Clara with tears of relief and sorrow. They had survived the storm, but the losses were immense. Rebuilding the farm would take time and resources they didn't have. Clara felt the weight of their struggles pressing down on her, yet she refused to give in to despair. She knew she had to be strong for her father and their future. Days turned into weeks, and the villagers banded together to help each other recover. Clara worked tirelessly alongside her father, determined to restore their farm, but fate was not done testing her resilience. One cold winter morning, Samuel fell ill. The harsh conditions and relentless labor had taken their toll on his already weakened body. Clara cared for him day and night, but his condition worsened. As Samuel lay on his deathbed, he took Clara's hand and whispered words of love and regret. He apologized for not being able to give her a better life, for the burdens she had to bear. Clara, with tears streaming down her face, reassured him that his love was more than enough and that she cherished every moment they had shared. With a final breath, Samuel passed away, leaving Clara alone in a world that seemed unbearably cruel. Clara buried her father next to her mother, the weight of her grief almost too much to bear. She was now truly alone, the farm a stark reminder of all she had lost. The villagers, moved by her plight, offered their support, but Clara felt an emptiness that no amount of kindness could fill. She continued to work the land, her hands calloused and her spirit weary, holding on to the memories of her parents and the love they had given her. Years passed, and Clara's once bright eyes grew dim with sorrow. She never married, never left the village. Her only solace came from the moments she spent with Star, the horse who had been her steadfast companion through all the trials. Together, they would ride through the meadows, the wind whispering the ghosts of a happier time. And though her heart remained heavy, Clara found a bittersweet comfort in the knowledge that she had survived, carrying the legacy of her family's love with her.